Here we go, guys. A new character has dropped in game. I do not have him. He is a mythic. I don't have any mythics. I just want to run over his kit and kind of give a gist of where I think he'll be very useful and if he can come into play for a lot of you guys. I know it's very hard with a mythic because realistically, to make any champion really, really useful, you need to transcend them, and mythics are hard enough to come by as it is. So it would be very hard. It is like the stats of mythics are much, much higher than any other champion. So you probably can get away with less transcendence and they may be better than Legos, but that's up to you to find out. So his basic attack is very different to most basic attacks because he does 4 different things and they actually do more than just hitting them. So with his first action, he deals 100% damage and increases his attack and movement speed by 50% for 5 seconds. This means that pretty much at all times, you're going to have a 50% increase of your attack speed and movement speed because when you are attacking, his stats are at 0.88 per second. This will get a 50% increase, so he'll be attacking more than once per second. Therefore, attacking enough times to get back around to his skill to go again. This will be negated a little bit by the time he gets to his ultimate skill. We'll get to that very soon. But you should have your attack speed and movement speed up by 50% at all times. This is absolutely huge for any champion, let alone this guy. Next, he deals 100% damage again and decreases the enemy's attack and movement speed by 30% for 5 seconds. So if you attach a Scathy straight onto him, like this is me just thinking out loud right now, you attach a Scathy onto him, that's like already a percentage down of attack speed and movement speed. Then you're adding his attack speed and movement speed down on them again. They will be hardly even moving at all. He is seeming like a very good control character. And if you have a look at what your opposition has, maybe you can line him up against their melee or someone else that is really going to be doing the damage to your team and you will just control them. The next one deals 100% damage again and has 20% chance to knock back the enemy. Again, you're controlling the enemy. 20%, not huge, but 1 in 5, not too bad. Deals 150% damage to an enemy and 15% chance to stun the enemy. That's not bad. You get a 20% and then a 15% to really control your enemy just that little bit more. I really like this. This is a great train of, what is it called? Chain strikes. Love it. His next skill, he increases the melee ranged duration damage reduction by 20% and reflects 200% of the damage when hit by the enemy. I don't know when this procs. It must just be randomly or it just comes up like a normal one. And he has a passive. He increases the critical resistance by 1 for every additional defense above the base stat. So obviously you just smash him up with defense and his critical resistance goes up as well. So this means you go in and do your Legion thing where you get that percentage increase in defense, add defense to him as much as you can, and he should be resisting those crits fairly often because his stat here, he's already got 1,000 crit resistance. We have a look at the one next to him. She's a range. Let's have a look at another defender. It's only 300. Like he already has super duper high crit resistance. So I think that is he's not going to be hit very much with criticals. His ultimate skill, this is where it all comes together. He removes all negative effects on self, taunts all the enemies. Again, he's controlling the enemies. This probably will work very well in arena. Say you've got the back line and you get to your ultimate before them because his attack speed and movement speed is fairly quick. So he should get to this ultimate skill before most. He'll taunt the enemies for 10 seconds. That's massive. Should be able to let your attackers get their attack off. Afterward, he enters a Zen state for the 10 seconds while they're attacking him, maximizing block and dodge. I don't like it when they say maximizing. Does that just mean it goes to 100%? Because on the stats, like dodge is a number. It's not a percentage. Same with block. It's a percentage. I don't understand when they write that, but obviously they're raising it up so much, so he should either be blocking or dodging most attacks coming into him while being unable to move or attack. So he's just going to sit there and just cop damage. He'll be copping it from everywhere. So once the Zen state ends, it deals damage to all enemies worth 100% of his lost HP and heals self for 25% of his max HP. So he should, as a defensive hero, do a fair bit of damage as well as controlling the enemy. I feel like this guy can be very, very useful. As I said, in arena, he could realistically be a very good frontline person for you. Say the opposition has Hades on one of their big attackers. If he taunts them before they get their attack off and you kill them first and they go into their non-death state, postponed state, and you have a Hades and you go into postponed death after them, you essentially win the arena match no matter what, because you are staying alive longer than them, because you both have the same amount of time until you get to death, unless your Hades isn't as leveled up as the other one. But not going into that, I feel like he will be very, very worth it in anyone's team, especially arena, and then probably climbing the tower, because there's not many other really good defensive heroes in the humans race. There is one here. This guy, he seems to be on a lot of people's team because people use humans very often, but I feel like he is a very, very big upgrade because there is not a legendary defensive hero in the humans. So that is it for today. This guy looks really good. He's going to be very hard to get because he's a mythic, but if you are going down that line, I think he will be genuinely a very good addition to your team.